We've spent countless hours and many pennies making our 1985 sailing boat Tay-Lee, an incredibly capable vessel. From the second head sail we added in Grenada, to the folding propeller we forked out on in Aruba. Then there's the rotten deck we fixed on our bow, the new standing rigging we installed on a dock in Martinique, the numerous engine services we have performed, getting rid of the grease packet and putting not one but 2 new shaft seals on. We rebuilt our failing rudder, got rid of a lot of unwanted ballast very early on, and the list honestly goes on and on. It feels it has become our life's mission to keep this boat working exceptionally well. But when you pour all your energy into one thing, naturally other areas will suffer. In this case, the interior of what is also our home. And whilst we fully accept that this vessel is a boat well before it is a home, after 2.5 years of the quirks we've been living with, we want to make a few changes. So welcome to Tay-Lee's Touch-Ups, where we plan to bring our almost 40-year-old boat a little more into this century. Subscribe if you want to see what we can do with a little bit of paint, and let's get to it.
Good morning. A lot of this varnish on this boat probably hasn't been done for, I don't know, I don't think the last owner did it, and it hasn't been done for a very long time, and a lot of areas are looking a little bit out of sort. My plan is, for some areas that need it, I've got some stripper here which I'm going to put on to remove old varnish, because on the steps here that I'm starting with, it's peeling and it's not great, so I'm going to get rid of the rest of it and kind of use the steps as kind of a bit of a testing ground for how I'm going to do the rest of the boat. But I think we're going to use some satin varnish for the interior, and then for the exterior we'll use some gloss. It's going to be a good process doing all of this, but I'm looking forward to finally making bits of the boat look good again with varnish. Oh yeah, lovely. So I did use the varnish stripper, but in some areas I needed to take it back because the colour was so different between different areas of the wood. So I've sanded a lot around here and all down the steps and everything like that. I'm going to go in now and yeah, varnish all of these areas I've just done.
Varnishing is on par with polishing for us. Yes, it's important for the longevity of the wood, but it's one of those jobs that we used to see people do and wish we were at that point. However, with far more pressing issues at hand, it's always been a low priority. So to be finally doing it felt a good indicator of how far we've come since buying the boat.
Ooh, look at that. So much better. Really, really happy with that. I need to do my next 3 lots of coats tomorrow because you need to leave 48 hours between the first 3 and the last 3, so I'm going to do that. But next thing I'm going to do is this whole desk area because it needs a good bit of work.
Happy with how the saloon turned out, I turned my attention to the companionway, which was probably showing her age the most. Back in Europe, months would go by before we saw noticeable wear and tear on Tay-Lee. But these past few months living by the equator have been absolutely brutal on our teak, our stainless and just about every other material exposed to the sun's rays. Even our bimini is now starting to crumble. And if that's not the biggest motivator to wear sun cream, I don't know what is.
If you are still with us and are enjoying watching the varnish dry, you're in luck, because in a bit you can watch paint dry as well. If adventuring and sailing, however, is more your thing, why not head to our website and check out our new Hilo Hues merch range. Inspired by the waves of the Pacific and the flowers of Hilo, Hawaii, our next ocean crossing destination. We hope this range transports you to the sights and smells of arriving to land after weeks at sea. Link is below.
We are really stoked with how this new range has come out, so let us know down below what you think. Becca wasn't kidding when she said there's more to come. As now the varnishing is done, I want to turn my focus to the saloon. I mentioned last week how the walls in here get so grubby.
We're going to be changing it out with some total boat stuff, which is wipeable white paint instead of the kind of just household stuff that we've got, because boats get dirty and the paint that we've got at the moment isn't the best for keeping the boat looking as good as it can do.
So we want to paint the whole area in wipeable bilge paint instead. So let's prep the surface and get painting.
I'm about to start my first lot of painting. I need to prime all of this because this isn't oil-based paint, this is a water-based paint. So I've got some primer I need to put on all of it first. As you can see, I've taped off all the areas I don't want getting paint on. Everything's sanded, everything's clean, everything's prepped. So yeah, let's begin. Now that the priming is all done everywhere in here, it's time to use the paint that we're going to use for this whole area in here, and we're going to use some total boat bilge paint. This stuff is going to make a real big difference to all the surfaces in here. It means that when they do ultimately get a little bit dirty or we get something on them, it means we can just wipe them off. That's why we've chosen a bilge paint. They're really hard wearing. Yeah, you'd be surprised at how much use surfaces get in a small space like this, because obviously living in a 40-foot space like this, every surface kind of gets touched and bumped and knocked more than you would in kind of a house. So yeah, we want to go for some really sturdy paint this time. After 2 layers on all of this, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. Hello, and welcome to this very hot galley. These tops all around here have been not in the best shape for the last probably year and a half or so. The top coat that was put on them before we got the boat is pretty rubbish, and it's worn through, but it's looking pretty tatty at the moment, and we've been wanting to change this up because we've got a lot of kind of different sorts of colours of wood going on in here, and it's all a bit mismatch and a little bit odd. So I've gone out and got a wood stain, which is just about as close as I can get it to being this colour in here. So I'm going to be doing enough coats of this, so this whole area is going to be this colour now. And then once I've done that, I'm going to use the Total Boat wood finish on top of this whole area to protect it. I don't know if I should be using a paint stripper, varnish stripper on this, because I'm a little bit worried about the corking in here and about that basically ruining all of that, because the corking's fine and it goes down a decent amount. So if I just sand it back, it should still hold in the grooves, but I don't want to sand this whole thing because this whole area is going to get super dusty. So I'd rather paint strip most of it and then go in a minute with the sander. So I think that's what I might do. I'm going to get the stripper now and just do some brush lines on it and just see how it looks. And if I like the look of it and how it's peeling this all up, I'll carry on with that and go from there. But what I need to do first is tidy up this area a little bit. I need to take this out. which is our induction cook hob, without dropping it and breaking it like I have before. This is what it looks like right now. It's all just coming off here. It doesn't look great. I think the darker colour will hide any kind of slight imperfections or like stains that we've got on here as well. A lot better. See all this? Like whatever was on here before wasn't a great kitchen top protector. So we're gonna tart this up nicely and sort it all out with, yeah, some more stuff from Total Boat as well. Let's put some gloves on for this. God, this stuff works so quickly. Look at this. I've literally just put it on, and look at all peeling up already. Oh yeah, that's what we want to see. That is all our varnish, and that is now clean wood. Right, signing next. Woo! I've just about prepped all of the sides here and the countertop. Those aren't spots, that's just where I've leant against the top and I'm quite hot and a little bit sweaty. So I'm gonna have to let those dry out and then I'll clean all the surface before I do anything else to it, but I've pretty much got it there. This is some of the dye that I was trying on it earlier, but I was obviously taking it back quite a bit, but that's the kind of effect we're gonna get on the whole thing. So yeah, I need to really make sure I get all this rubbish in the corners though.
Those of you who are avid wood stainers will recognise straight away the step I have missed.
It was actually the next day, and I'll show you where I'm at. You might be wondering why that looks a little bit different. I didn't like how the results came out yesterday. I really didn't like it. It was blotchy. I don't know. I didn't do it right. I should have used a pre-conditioner for it to give it a better look. I probably should have used a rag to apply it instead of a brush, how I did. And I've done a lot more research now, and I think I'm a lot more happy with how it's gonna go this time. So I'm gonna first use this pre-wood conditioner, get it all on there in the areas that I want it to be, kind of everywhere. After that's kind of dry, about 15 minutes or so, I'm gonna go in with the stain with a little rag like this, just a cotton rag, and work it in like that. And then once I've worked in, I'm gonna go back and wipe it off. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it in sections this time, or I'm just gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna do this one down here first, and then I'm gonna do the big one, but I'm gonna use rags for every single time, and I'm obviously gonna wear gloves for it, so yeah. This is attempt 2 now, so hopefully this will work. So it's like pretty much saturated it. It's the preconditioner on. Okay, stain time. That's so much better. Okay, I'm happy with that.
Really happy with that. That came out 50 times better. Look at that. It's not perfect, but I think for the first attempt at doing staining, well, second attempt kind of, it turned out pretty alright. There's some areas I'm not 100% happy about, but it's almost there. Pretty happy with how this all turned out. What I need to do now, as with everything else I've been doing, is use some 320 grit sandpaper, give it a very light sand in the direction of the grains, and then apply my last 3 coats, and then I'm going to be done with this, finally. This is taking quite a while, so yeah, I'm going to be pretty happy when this is all done.
Despite the work surfaces looking gleaming, the galley refit was only just beginning.
I want to tackle this whole area and make it look decent. This is where the fridge sits, and we've just got a wedge in here to stop it from moving. And this is the air fryer. It's on just a plywood sheet. It's also painted white on the floor here, if you can see this. And the whole of the rest of the boat is all wood on the floor. It used to have some blue carpet throughout the boat, which we hated and got rid of quite quickly. What I'm going to start by doing is just removing all of this with some stripper and getting rid of the blocks here so I can get under those and remove all the paint there. Oof.
This is what I'm starting with. It's not great. Definitely needs a lot of love down here.
Frustratingly, the paint didn't react at all to the paint stripper, making us think it was mixed in with some kind of resin. But after a lot of sanding, it was looking a heck of a lot better.
Considering how that looked, I don't think that's too bad. It's a lot better than the white. It's not perfect, but I couldn't take it down much further than this. But yeah, it's looking far, far more like this than it was with the carpet or the white on it. So yeah, that'll do, donkey. That'll do.
But now it's time to turn our attention to preventing one of the most annoying things from happening when we sail. Our entire non-perishable food bin flying across the boat almost every time we encounter even the most minuscule ripple on the ocean.
A really long time ago, and with a previous owner, they converted this whole area from an extra cabin, which had 2 bunk beds, one there and one there, or 1 bunk bed even, and then converted it into an extension of the galley, which is a great idea, but there's a load of things in here that just don't really make sense. Like this massive storage area in here would be so much better if there's just one more shelf in it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a shelf just at the bottom where this blue mark is going to be. But the shelf is going to have to be a bit of a weird shape. So what I'm going to have to do is basically get a template of this and then add on kind of like 3 and a bit centimeters or so from the width that way where the curve is, to get it to fit in here. So I'm going to lay out some paper, stick it down along the side, and then just get a sharp blade and go into the corner here and then cut out this template until I'm happy with it. So I don't know how this is going to go, but I've been sitting here for about an hour trying to figure out how I'm going to make this shelf to fit in this awkward space. I think this is the best way to do it, so we'll give it a go. 24th. For like a week.
That's good. You must be counting the days now.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's looking forward to getting back now.
Yeah, she's gonna see a brand new boat, huh?
It's getting there. I've got a few things I'm sure we can get on with.
Looks good.
Talking of Becca, she's been pretty vacant the last little while here in the videos. And I know she's finding it tough being away from me and Tay-Lee, but she decided to pick up the camera in the UK and say how she's feeling.
I have been in the UK now about 6 weeks since I injured my knee, and I haven't picked up the camera once. I really just haven't felt like it. I've had a lot of healing to do over the last 6 weeks, and the injury really shook me up. I think it made me realise how we're one injury away from the end of an adventure, and that was quite a hard reality to live with, because we've said this before, but you know, we are pretty gung-ho and we don't feel invincible, but there's been moments of us feeling invincible, and it's not good to feel invincible. And this has been another one of those moments, like the thunderstorm in Nicaragua, which has just brought me back down to earth a bit. But I would have preferred, obviously, for it not to happen, but here I am, I'm living with it, I'm dealing with it, and all I can do is look forwards and keep healing. So I'll go back to when I did it and how it went down, and you can kind of see what happened. Kind of finding it hard to film this section. Brings back lots of different emotions, but I was essentially just kneeling down on the floor. My kneecap came apart, and as I stood up I twisted the bottom half of my leg and my kneecap came out. It didn't fully go back in. I did something to the nerve, I did something to the ligament. I was in agonising pain, and as I was being wheeled in a wheelchair through the hospital, and they went over a bump at one point and my kneecap fell out again. Doctors ran out, and it was a really horrible experience. I then was really determined to get back on my feet and start walking. I went for a walk the next day in public, and my kneecap fell out 5 more times from the car to where I was walking, and I didn't know why, and I fell on the floor. It was not good. I then spoke to the fracture clinic, who said to me that if you have a traumatic injury, your muscles can turn off. And figuring it out, my whole quadriceps had stopped working. Like, it just turned itself off. Couldn't use it, couldn't walk, even on crutches. I was scooting around the house on my butt for a week and a half, until one night I had some spasms in the top of my leg, and by the morning I was starting to regain use of my quadricep. But it didn't just come back, and I spent the next few weeks learning how to walk again, and yeah, that's just tough when, you know, you've got so many exciting things on the horizon. We're going to Alaska next year, dreaming of hiking and climbing, and you know, there I am not even being able to walk to the bathroom myself. That was really tough, and I haven't wanted to film because, you know, I lost a bit of me in that injury and that time, and you know, I'm very independent normally, and I had to have help for stuff, and yeah, it was tough, really tough, and I'm still, you know, 6 weeks later, I'm still dealing with the repercussions of a traumatic injury, but I am feeling better. You know, I don't look it right now, you know, talking about it is tough, but I'm feeling a lot better. I'm doing all the exercises to the T, and I know I can only get stronger and better, and my biggest goal now is just to prevent it from ever happening again, because the thought of it happening offshore gives me just the worst feeling. I don't want to think about it. But that's why I've got to get really strong now and not rush anything, get myself fit enough to sail offshore again. But I fly back to Mexico in 5 days' time, and I'm very excited. I've really missed Zach, I've really missed Tay-Lee. He's been an absolute hero out there by himself, getting on with all these jobs on board. He's worked so hard, and he's become a real perfectionist and a real craftsman. He's become a really good woodworker, he's become a good handyman, he's become a good mechanic. Last year, you know, we'd do a job and get it done, but this year he's paying attention to detail and he's making it look excellent. He's got a lot more love in it now to get the grain of the wood out and stuff. I think last year we had a lot on our plate. We were learning to sail, we were learning to navigate, we were learning all these things, and then we were building a rudder, and everything was a lot. And now he, you know, without me there and with some time, he's giving everything a lot of love, and I really appreciate that, especially as I'm, you know, bundled up here. But it's been 6 weeks and I'm itching to get back to our boat and our home, and you know, we're going to build a hard dodger, and I've been just dreaming of that for the last week, and I'm really trying to just be positive and think, you know, this isn't the end. Like, if anything, this is the beginning, this is the wake-up call I needed to get strong, because without strength? You know, what do we have without our health? What do we have? So yeah, it always takes something like this, unfortunately, to remind you of the really important things in life and remind you of the fact that, you know, without our health we can't keep doing this. Yeah, gonna get back there, gonna get really strong. I'm gonna have huge quads by the end of the year, just you wait. I'm never letting that muscle fall asleep again, because you really need it. Thank you for those who have messaged. It really means a lot. It can be a bit isolating when you're recovering from an injury, so to have that, and my family have been amazing. I really couldn't thank them enough for just taking me back in and taking me under their wing, and I'm really grateful for all of that. So yeah, it's been a bit of a tough time, but still got a smile on my face, and the future's really exciting, and I can't wait to heal and get better, and yeah, enjoy this series of marina upgrades and exciting things, because there's really windy. There's a lot of exciting stuff to come.
She's not kidding there. We have so many exciting plans on the horizon, and not a day has gone by that we haven't been speaking about the offshore packages we have in store for next year. I really think that's the best thing about bringing you along for the ride. You get to watch the wood being cut in a marina in Mexico, but next year you will also see the Hawaiian Islands appearing after weeks at sea. You'll witness us sailing along the shores of Alaska and dropping our hook in Canadian fjords. We're trying not to wish the time away, but it's exciting to be experiencing it all for the first time, and let you join in on that excitement too.
Okay, I'm loosely there with getting all this stuff in. I just need to put some supporting beams in, which I've just been measuring up and doing. Full disclaimer, I'm definitely not a carpenter, obviously, by the look of this. So, if anyone else was doing this and trying to get a good idea of how to get a template for the size of these shelves, I'd love to hear it, because I'm sure there's far better ways, but this is the only way that I can think of with the tools that I had, so yeah, let me know. I've also done this little kind of bridge piece as well to hold up the further back one, but then I had to cut a good chunk out of it so that I could obviously use that space back there still. Got all these kind of dry fitted in here, but in order to secure all of these, I'm just going to put a few of these brackets in here to hold these two bits of wood together. Once I've done that, I am going to secure these in properly. I'm not too sure exactly how yet, and then yeah, I'm kind of almost there with everything. Now that these are all installed and the shelving's all in and these are tapped all on and everything like that, I need to put a layer of primer on the just plain wood areas, and I'm going to be using some Total Boat primer. I'll do it now, leave it overnight, and hopefully I can start getting the normal paint on tomorrow. It's going to be a bit awkward.